Jim Trusty brought up this idea of a general warrant, that it was overbroad and vague, and therefore, as I've talked about, the specificity requirement that you have to have a specific showing of where you're going, what you're looking for. This idea of specificity pervades American jurisprudence, and in rebuttal, Counsel Joshi points out that there was judicial oversight. This was not a general warrant. Judge Reinhardt has had oversight all along, has particularized the spaces to be searched. And as Counsel Joshi is saying this, the court interjects and supplements Counsel Joshi's argument in saying that this general warrant argument is a new argument. There has been Jim Trusty has not built a record to show that there is any sort of illegal seizure happening here, that this was a general warrant. This is a new argument that they have brought up. And to that, Counsel Joshi added that they have been shifting the sands on the arguments all along. Because in Judge Cannon's court, when the initial special master motion was made, it was an attorney-client privilege and then executive privilege issue. None of those issues apply or work in this case. And we heard about that in the partial stay hearings that happened for the classified documents. And then the argument switched to when they went to SCOTUS on the interlocutory appeal of the 11th Circuit's order. Donald argued that the documents had been declassified without, again, building a record or showing that they were declassified. Then on appeal in the 11th Circuit, they brought up a novel argument about concerns about the Presidential Records Act. And then in this case, they brought up the general warrant and the other ancillary topics that they have talked about. Without having proven any of those things, and the burden of proving any of those things, callous disregard, or that the seizure was unlawful, or that there was a general warrant, or that there were claims of privilege, or that it was declassified, or that there are inconsistencies with the PRA. All of these, for none of these, Donald has provided any evidence or met the burden of proof. And upon being pressed, not in this hearing, but previously, as to why, they have said in court that they don't want to preempt any arguments that they would make in case of a criminal trial was brought. They want to preserve their defenses. So this whole circuitous argument and this assertion that the delay of 100 days is not going to cause irreparable injury to the government fell flat because it didn't have any ground to stand upon. Donald has made no ground to stand upon. And if the special master review is allowed to happen, and then the report is filed, and then sent to Judge Cannon's court, and then adjudicated, and this was also brought up by the 11th Circuit and the DOJ in the previous filings, the delay to these proceedings is not going to be merely the 100-day delay that Jim Trusty himself concedes to. It is an open-ended delay. And on rebuttal, Counsel Joshi brings that up and says that there are many ways that this can go longer. And as Counsel Joshi quotes Justice Frankfurter in a Supreme Court opinion, Cobbledick, saying delay is fatal to the vindication of criminal law. And that Donald Trump had the burden of showing irreparable injury from not having these documents returned, and he failed to meet that burden. And he failed to meet every other evidentiary burden. But Jim Trusty says that Donald Trump doesn't really want special treatment. So effectively, what can be parsed from the oral arguments is that they don't have that Donald Trump does not have a case to stop this 11th Circuit from dismissing, from vacating and remanding for dismissal of the entire special master review.